Welcome back to the Daily Stoic podcast, where we explore timeless wisdom for everyday life. Today, we have the extraordinary opportunity to converse with an emperor, a philosopher, and a master of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius. We'll delve into his insights on a topic that has intrigued humanity for centuries: happiness. Marcus, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We often find ourselves chasing elusive shadows in our pursuit of happiness. Your reign, marked by war and plague, forced you to confront life's harsh realities. Yet, your writings radiate a profound sense of contentment and inner peace. What secrets to happiness did you uncover amid such turmoil?
Your observation is astute. True happiness does not lie on the surface of life, but within. The very things people believe will bring them happiness are often the very things that stand in their way. We chase after pleasure, wealth, and external validation, mistaking them for the true source of fulfillment. This pursuit leads us down a treacherous path. Instead of finding lasting joy, we become enslaved by our desires, perpetually seeking the next fleeting thrill. This constant craving leaves us feeling empty and dissatisfied. The problem is not with these things themselves, but with our perception of them. We attach our happiness to external factors that are ultimately beyond our control. When those things inevitably change or disappear, as they often do, our happiness crumbles along with them.
You've touched upon a crucial point, Marcus. What are some of the most prevalent misconceptions about happiness that prevent us from attaining it?
Two lies in particular hold us captive. The first is the belief that happiness is a destination, a state of constant euphoria we must strive to reach. This is simply not true. Life is a tapestry woven with both joy and sorrow, and to deny either is to deny the fullness of the human experience. The second lie is the notion that happiness is something that happens to us, dependent on external circumstances or the actions of others. This robs us of our agency. It suggests that we are merely passive recipients of fate, powerless to influence our own well-being. These misconceptions keep us locked in a cycle of seeking and striving, forever chasing an illusion. To break free, we must first dismantle these harmful narratives and embrace a more empowering perspective.
If happiness is not a destination or something bestowed upon us, how then, Marcus, would you define it? What does it truly mean to live a happy life?
True happiness, in my view, is not about the absence of adversity, but the presence of virtue. It is a state of inner tranquility that arises from living in accordance with nature, aligning our thoughts and actions with reason and wisdom. This means accepting what is beyond our control, focusing on what we can influence, and striving to live virtuously in every moment. It means finding contentment not in fleeting pleasures, but in the pursuit of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Happiness, then, is not a fleeting emotion, but a way of life. It is the byproduct of living with purpose, integrity, and a deep understanding of our place in the grand scheme of things.
You mentioned earlier, Marcus, that our perception plays a crucial role in our happiness. Could you elaborate on this? How can we shift our perspective to cultivate greater contentment in our lives?
Indeed, it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. We have the power to choose how we perceive and interpret the events that unfold around us. Instead of viewing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth and learning.
For example, imagine losing a possession you value. You could choose to dwell on the loss, allowing anger and resentment to consume you, or you could choose to accept the situation, recognizing that material possessions are impermanent and focusing your energy on what truly matters.
The former response leads to suffering, the latter to tranquility. By training our minds to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our responses, we free ourselves from the tyranny of external circumstances.
Acceptance seems to be a recurring theme in your philosophy, Marcus. How can we learn to embrace the difficulties of life without succumbing to despair or resignation?
Acceptance is not about passively resigning ourselves to fate, but actively choosing to acknowledge reality as it is, without resistance. It is about recognizing that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience, and that our struggles, while painful, can also be sources of immense growth and wisdom. When we rail against the inevitable, we create unnecessary suffering. We expend precious energy fighting a losing battle. Instead, we can choose to accept what we cannot change with grace and courage, focusing our efforts on what we can influence. This does not mean we should not strive to improve our circumstances or right wrongs. It simply means approaching challenges with a calm and rational mind, seeking solutions rather than dwelling in despair. Remember, even in the darkest of times, there is always something to be grateful for, always a glimmer of hope to guide us forward.
You often speak of living in accordance with nature, Marcus. What does this mean in the context of finding happiness? How can we align ourselves with the natural order of the universe to cultivate greater contentment?
To live in accordance with nature means to live in harmony with reason and virtue, recognizing that we are interconnected beings sharing a common fate. It means embracing our roles as rational and social animals, using our capacity for reason to contribute to the greater good. When we live in this way, our actions are guided by a sense of purpose and meaning. We find joy not in selfish pursuits, but in contributing to something larger than ourselves. We cultivate gratitude for the gift of life and the opportunity to connect with others. This doesn't require grand gestures. Simply treating others with kindness and respect, acting with integrity in our daily lives, and striving to leave the world a better place than we found it. These are all ways to live in accordance with nature and find lasting happiness.
Your insights are incredibly valuable, Marcus. For our listeners who are eager to integrate these principles into their own lives, what practical steps can they take each day to cultivate greater happiness?
The pursuit of happiness, like any worthwhile endeavor, requires consistent effort. Begin each day with a clear intention to live virtuously, to approach challenges with a calm and rational mind, and to appreciate the simple gifts that life has to offer. Practice mindfulness throughout the day. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you find yourself dwelling on negativity, gently redirect your focus to the present moment. Reflect on your day before bed. What went well? What could you have done differently? What are you grateful for? This daily practice of introspection will help you identify areas for growth and cultivate greater awareness of your thoughts and actions.
Thank you, Marcus, for sharing your timeless wisdom with us today. Your insights provide a powerful roadmap for navigating life's complexities and cultivating lasting happiness. We are deeply grateful for your time and wisdom. And to our listeners, we encourage you to explore the teachings of Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy further. You can find a wealth of resources, including guided meditations and journaling prompts, on our website at website address. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring conversations and practical wisdom to help you live your best life. Remember, happiness is not a destination, but a journey. It is a choice we make each day to live in accordance with virtue, to find contentment in the present moment, and to embrace the fullness of the human experience.